you can hear me okay. Can you drop a note and let me know that you hear me okay? I would appreciate that. Pop out the chat here. All right, good. I have several people registered for this webinar. I just see Larry and Lisa. So let's give it a second here and we'll find out. But I'm not going to delabor very long because I have a follow-up. The doctor's office called me yesterday, and I have a follow-up visit from my doctor's from my heart episode. So I'll make sure I have time to go do that. It's actually at 2:15, so we'll be all right. Give me a second because I was a little late running in. Larry, are you there? Can you hear me? All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's see here. Let me share my screen so you can see what I see. All right, let me know if you see my my Convertri screen there. We're going to talk about sales funnels today. And I'm going to give you a brief, very quick, easy overview of sales funnels. It's not going to be complicated. It's not going to be difficult, but it is going to be important for what you do because there's all kinds of noise about sales funnels today. And everywhere I look, we have all kinds of people who are promoting sales funnels. We have at least a half a dozen or more builders, and there's a new one being introduced seems like every month or two. Somebody comes out, there's been XFunnels and ClickFunnels and Builderall and all kinds of places doing sales funnels. The problem with that is if you don't understand what a sales funnel is, then there's really not much of anything that you can do with that. It's like, okay, yeah, right. But, and most of the noise has more to do with, pitching a product than it has with you actually creating a business. And I don't want to say that critically. I know Richard Brunson's done a good job with with ClickFunnels and brought a lot of people to massive amounts of money as a result of his product ClickFunnels. But most of the time, that's grossly overbuilt for what people actually need. And so I'm going to start at the very beginning. I'm going to do something that's very simple, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples of that, and that's what we're going to do. So let me know if that's cool. So tell me in the chat if you think that's a cool idea. All right, so this is what we're going to do. All right, thank you. This is what we're going to do. I have built a very simple landing page here that's going to act as a sales funnel, okay? And what this is it's designed like this. This is a lead magnet. This is what people do to get somebody to get on an email list, okay? And people are all the time promoting their lead magnet. I have this lead magnet, and I'm wondering how come people don't buy my lead magnet, or how come they don't get my lead magnet, or I'm not getting any. I saw we had a ticket that came through one day, and the guy said, I've had 3,000 people that have viewed my page, and zero have opted in. Well, there may be a reason for that. What are you doing? Are you promoting? Are you selling your lead magnet? Do they have a reason to buy that, or not even buy it? Do they have a reason to give you your email address? Because if they don't, then there's not really any reason for them to give you an email address. For what? I had an interesting conversation with a woman the other day who had this, she had created this lead magnet, and she was going to put this out. And I said, what is going to happen if I give you my email address? Well, you'll get this checklist. Okay, cool. So what's the checklist going to do for me? And there was this blank non-response. It's like, I don't know. Well, if you have a checklist, then I need to know what it's going to do. What's going to be the value that I'm going to get? Is this checklist going to save me $1,500? Is this checklist going to shortcut the amount of time that it takes me to do this project that the checklist is for? Is it going to make it easier for people? I need to know what that is. Give me something in the title that makes me want to have this. Give me some bullet points that makes me say, I've got to give you my email address so I can get a hold of that. And that's so important. It's even beyond the features and benefits thing. It goes to one more level, Dorn. And I agree with what you're saying. It goes to one more level. And the one more level is what's the results. And I really, really like shifting from features and benefits to results. People don't even buy benefits. People disagree with me about this. People don't buy benefits. What they buy is they buy results. You know, it's not that we have the best weight loss system. No, you're going to lose 25 pounds in the next 30 days. That's a result. I don't care how good your system is. I don't care how easy it is. I don't care if you don't have to count points. I just want to know, am I going to lose 25 pounds? And so I really like the results part of the conversation. And so I put this down here just to have this conversation about this. My amazing lead magnet. You know, give me a reason why I should have that. Even in the title, give me a headline that makes this valuable. And I put this, I've actually taken this, the Papa story is something entirely different. But I put that there on purpose because there's no reason why anybody would want that if they weren't a family member, right? Nobody cares what the life and legacy of Eric Mulford is. Nobody cares about that. What they care about is what difference is that going to make to my life? And that's what really matters. And so not only do you want to have a really good headline, but you also want to have, and I'll talk about this more in just a little bit, you also want to have amazing bullet points that cause people to go, and that's the reason why I listed them like this. I got to have some of this, and I got to have some more of this, and I got to have way more of this, and I can't get enough of this. Make sure that those bullet points make people go, man, that's the result I'm looking for. I need to lose 25 pounds in 30 days. I need to have a beach body. It's been a long time since I had a beach body, by the way. But those are the kinds of things that cause people to go, I got to have this. I've got to have this. And if you're not doing this, I always have this little list of things that I go through. What am I selling? And even if you're giving away a lead magnet, which is what the purpose of a lead magnet is, it's something that you give away. Even if you're giving it away, you still have to sell it. because they're giving you something in exchange. They're giving you a name and an email address. That's something that's private and personal. And they're giving that to you in exchange for something. So I have to make a sales transaction here. There has to be value given in exchange for something that has value. Now, once I have somebody in my email list, prior to my experience with the heart episode, over the last 18 months, I had a track record of having about $13 a month generated from a name on my email list. So if I have 400 people on my email list and I'm generating $13 a name on that list, does that make them worth value? Say $13 is not very much. It's $13 for every name. That's a pretty significant amount of money. Okay, so I want you to understand that you're making a value exchange here. So I've got to give you something in order for you to give me something. And that's the whole part of this lead magnet thing. And while that's not really intended to be the part of the talking about the sales funnel, it's a valuable part of understanding how sales funnel works. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, I want to make this really clear. Thank you. I want to make this really clear because this is not too complicated. You can actually do this. I could create my entire lead magnet right here, or I'm not my lead magnet. I could create my entire process right here. But I had somebody ask me this question late last night, as I was getting ready to think through what I was going to do today on this presentation. And I'd already set this up that we were going to talk about what's the big deal. What is the big deal with sales funnels? And so this was the question: How do I deliver an info product that then gives them the option of getting something else without being smarky and taking them someplace that they didn't intend to go? Well, this is a really easy way to do this. And I'm going to show you how to do that right here. Okay. So this is how I built this page. Now, a couple of things that are important here. When I built this page, I want this to go. I want this name and email address to go someplace. So I have a form over here. When I click on the form, that form, not an autoresponder, that form was set up to go to ActiveCampaign. So I've got my ActiveCampaign account connected to Convertri, and my ActiveCampaign account then will, I will drop this name and email address inside of my ActiveCampaign list in a particular list area. Okay. So that's what I'm doing with this. I'm getting that person's name on a list. That's the simple part of what I'm trying to accomplish with the lead magnet. But there's something that I want you to see here, and that is I'm going to redirect this to another step in my funnel. I've called it funnel demo so that you can see it. But when you go back out to the opening page on Convertri, and let me open up this page on Convertri. Let me go back out to here and I'll show you something. This is my opt-in page. This is my thank you page. This is my entire sales funnel for this demo. All right. I'm getting your email address, and I'm going to deliver. I'm going to deliver to you the promise, and that is this ebook. All right. Is that clear to everybody? And so I'm going from the opt-in page to the thank you page. Very simple process, very simple step. So I have these two connected with this arrow so that when this opens up, when this page opens up and I'm working on the form, this form right here, I click here, the redirect, post-submission redirect is going to suggest that thank you page. That's what that arrow does. It suggests it. It doesn't automatically connect it, but it suggests that you connect that. Because, excuse me, you might want to connect it someplace else, but it does at least give you the option of being able to do that. So let me show you how I built this, because I think this is pretty simple, and I think this is pretty important to do it this way. So I have this page right here, which is my lead magnet. This is my offer. This is going to get somebody's name on my list. Okay. So that's step one. Let me, I haven't made any changes here, so I can go back out to my funnel, and I'm going to open up the thank you page. I'll come back to this in just a minute. I can open up the thank you page. And from here, this has a video promoting my next offer. Okay. Now let me show you how this actually looks. Okay. I want you to see how this actually looks. It actually looks like this. Because what was my offer over here? Let me get this page. Let me grab the link for this. What was my offer? My offer here is that my offer here is that you're going to get this ebook, right? That's my offer. That's my promise. Now I have to have a way to deliver that promise. I get your email address and I deliver the promise. All right. But I don't want it to stop at the promise. I want it to go one step further. Okay. And my one step further is to here. I want to enter the email, the name and email address, and then I want it to go to here. Now, I've set this up this way on purpose, all right? I set this up exactly like this so that you could see what happens here. Because what I'm going to do is this download button. This is the first thing that they see is download that amazing lead magnet, which is the title I've given it on the other page, right? So now when I click the download, I want you to watch what happens because I think this is where this becomes incredibly important. I click the download and that actually downloads. Can you see over here in the left-hand corner? That actually downloads that ebook, right? Or the lead magnet. Do y'all see that? I don't know if you can see that or not, but I want to make sure you can see that. Did you see it download the PDF in the corner? So it downloads the PDF in the corner. Now they're still on this page. They didn't go anyplace. I didn't have to take them someplace else. I downloaded to this page. You say, well, Eric, why didn't you just do it over here? Why didn't you just deliver it right here when you hit the submission button? The reason is because I can only make one choice here. I want them to get on my email list. I want them to be on my email list. I want this form right here to go into my ActiveCampaign account. That's my goal. My goal of giving them the ebook is so that I can get them on my list, right? Y'all agree with that? The whole purpose of having a lead magnet is to get them on the list so that I can deliver additional things to them while they're on the list. So once they're on the list, then I want to be able to, once I've delivered this, right there, I want them to be able to get access to the next page, which is the video page, which I've just got set up here. This just got a video of me in the park. But do you understand what we're doing here? The process is pretty simple. And we don't have to make sales funnels complicated. We can make them very, very simple. And this is a very simple sales funnel. But once they've downloaded, I've delivered my promise. And without taking them to another page, without them having to take any other action, it's right there. Is that a simple way to set this up? Dorn, what do you think? Is that a simple way to set that up? That submit button got two actions. Right here, this got two actions. It put them on my list and it opened up the option of them being able to download. And I totally agree with that, Dorn. I did that for years. Let me show you the reason why. The reason why I did the pop-up box. Okay, The reason why I did the pop-up box over here, and I'll refresh this and it'll come back up, is because several things can happen. First of all, they have hit submit, so they've got exactly what was promised. That's the first. That's step one. I want them to trust me. At this point, they don't have any reason to trust me other than the fact that I made a really good promise over here. That's the only reason why they have to trust me. So over here, I want them to trust me. So the first way I'm going to get them to trust me is that that's the very first thing I do is I deliver that to them. Okay, that's the very first thing that I do. Now, the reason why I don't put it below the video is because of this. Watch what happens when I click on the. I'm gonna make sure this is gone. Click on this. Where's my button below the video? Can you see it? It's below the fold. That's the reason why I started doing the light box, is because I wanted the video to be big enough that it was obvious that they're supposed to watch it. But by putting it, and the button's almost always going to be below the fold. And now that the majority of people are looking at it on an iPad, I can promise you it's going to be below the fold. Or they're looking at it on an iPhone, I can promise you it's going to be something they have to scroll down to get. So what I did instead was I started to do this. And it eliminates that. Where'd it go? How do I get where's my download? And now you're pitching me something else already. And I want to make sure that I fulfill the promise first. That's part of a trust building that we have to do. And again, it goes back to, what are you selling? Who are you selling it to? What's my market like? How do I get them? How do I help them to become confident that I'm going to be able to fulfill the promise? And the way I do it is I do it first. I do it the very first thing. So now I could have accomplished the same thing. Let's go back over here. I could have accomplished exactly the same thing. I'm going to take you through this step because I want you to see it. I could have accomplished the same thing right here. All right. Now, the way I do that is a little bit different. I could have made this, I could have created a pop-up that comes in here. And you do that by creating a layer. Actually, let me just show it to you on the other page. But am I making sense? Do you understand what I'm trying to help you to see here? That the purpose of a funnel, and I'm not even sure I like that term, but the purpose of a funnel is to help somebody to get to know me and like me and want to do business with me and want to recommend me to their friends. And yes, I can trigger the submit on the pop-up. The problem is it's still another step. Okay. And I'll show you that in just a second. But the way I build the layer is right here. Have this little layer button, you notice has a number 1 here. That will tell you the number of layers that you have. I actually built a page like this one time in Convertri with 10 videos in it on 10 different layers. And I used it just like a membership site. And there was just a button for each one of those. And you went through and you watched this video. It was 2 minutes. And then you watched this video and it was 2 minutes. And they were just on pop-ups. Let me tell you the reason why I like to do it that way. I like to keep people on the same page, because skipping around, jumping from one page to the other, you run into load times. That's one issue that happens. But the second thing that happens is that you can lose people in the process. And if you can keep them on the same page, you can be more effective in your ability to be able to get them. Okay, so that's the first thing. But you simply select this right here. And in this particular case, what I did was I selected this button, which causes that pop-up or that layer to be visible when the page opens. So when the page opens, it looks like this. If I deselect this, then it opens up without that being there, and I don't have any way to deliver other than, like Dorn had said earlier, putting a button down here. So in this particular case, what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a layer that was visible the moment that they log onto the page. Okay, you can adjust the color of it over here, the color of this overlay. I did the green because it's easier for y'all to see on a webinar. And then I also want to make this visible on a mobile. But all you do then is from right here is you just simply close that layer window so it's not in your way, and you just start building the elements. First thing I did was I created this panel. And then the next thing I did with the panel is I put a goofy border around the outside of it so you could see it. I wanted you to see that that panel was there. Okay. And I can change the color of that border if I wanted to do that. You can do it like that. But the other thing that I do, you'll notice it over here. Let me refresh this. And I like to do this. All of my sales pages are all designed exactly the same way. And that is when I roll over this, your screen's frozen. What's the key code for that? You push F5. Is that what it is that will refresh your screen? I think that's what it is. All right, when I roll my mouse over this button, I like to have it change colors. I get more conversions with it changing colors than with it not. Okay, indicates that there's an action that needs to be taken there. So I always create my layers and my buttons, my action buttons, so that they so that people know that they're in the right spot. This is what they're supposed to do. There's nothing else that moves on this page. Carrie's asking the question, why do you think that is? I think it's because they know when you do this, it becomes obvious. Nothing else on the page. It looks like maybe the page is froze up. You know, they may be concerned that something, you know, what did I just do? I opened up this page and it's grayed out. What's the deal? And typically I use gray in my background rather than green. But this indicates that, yeah, there's something I'm supposed to take action on here, okay? And the way you do that is you just do one on the mouse over or on the general color here, okay? And that's, I'm sorry, I have to be on this button right here, but on the background. And I just changed the color here. All right. Pretty simple stuff. I did put a way to close that, and this close button right here is taken care of with an action. And upon clicking that action or that button, you can see that I have selected this. Click on action here. By clicking, that's my trigger. And you have triggers either timer or click. By click, then that's supposed to fade out. All right. And it is the layer called download delivery. All right. Okay. Any questions? Now, if I wanted to do what is mentioned earlier, close this. On here, I would have actually created two layers. All right. This right here, I would have moved. All right. Let me show you. I would take these elements and I'm going to delete them. Take these elements and I have this one right here. Let me clear this form. All right, so now I have this here, and I'm going to create a layer so you can see this. And I'm going to make that layer invisible. It doesn't have to show up when I do this. I'm going to put it back. I'm going to make my background grayed out here like that. And now I'm going to build this on top of it. I'll pop up a panel here. And inside this panel, I will create a form. Inside this panel, I will create a form. I will have email. So you can see how to do this. And then I need a submit button. All right. And I'm not going to go through the making this button color and that kind of a thing. So is everybody still with me? All right, so what I'm going to do here, I'm not going to do 2 emails. I'm going to do 1. And I'll show you the reason why in just a second. Here's a great question. Let me show you the reason why. All right, that's going to be our button. I need to put my close button up here. I believe it's here. I hope it is. No, it's not. I guess buttons would be under buttons, wouldn't they? Yep. Okay, there we go. Now, I have this set up here so that I'm collecting their email here. When they hit this submit button, this pops up. All right. That's important. So that what happens is I now have the ability to be able to capture their email here in the same page. And then what can happen is I can build another layer, and that other layer comes on after this window closes. All right. And that can become my delivery button. But I've got to be able to submit. I have to be able to submit that to my email list provider, my autoresponder. And then I can either deliver, I could deliver it, the email. I could deliver it by email if I wanted to do it that way. And sometimes that's how you want to actually do it, is to deliver it by email. But you can deliver it with the layers as well. All right. Is there any questions? Because I've got about 5 minutes. Not really sure what happened there. Sorry about that.
It's full of, as I said, sales techniques.
Every time my phone rings now, I have a video that comes on. So let me turn that off. I've got to find it and shut it off. All right. Sorry about that. The one thing you don't want to have happen. All right. Is there any questions? I just want to make sure I've covered this, because I think we make this way more complicated than it has to be. Yes, this goes directly to the list, so I don't have to worry about it. That's the reason why I set this form up over here under autoresponders. Go to ActiveCampaign, and it gives me a chance to put this in a list. Since you asked the question, Carrie, I'm going to put it in your list. And then I can tag whatever email, first name, last name. And then I have the post submission redirect here. So we're all good. Okay. This is an amazing way to build a sales funnel. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be difficult. I like this method right here of just simply making the download available here and then having it layered on top of something that has my upsell on it, rather than them having to say no and all. In order to get this, you've got to say no, and you have to click the no thanks button and all of that kind of stuff. There's another way to do this. All right. Let me show you another way to do this. Well, I haven't found a reason for 7 OTOs yet, Dorn, but there are obviously people who do. And sometimes that makes sense. It doesn't always make sense, but sometimes it does. Because again, this is a person that they don't know me and I don't know them. And we've got to find a reason for us to be able to do business together. And that's really what I want to do. Is find a way for us to do business together. Let me show you another way to build a sales funnel like this. And I'm going to take just this right here and grab a link from this. Now, remember we had a delivery page. Sometimes when we've got a sales page, what we want to do is we want to take them to a checkout page, okay? So this is how you get somebody to a checkout page. And there's the checkout page. This is my shopping cart that I use called ThriveCart. ThriveCart, by the way, is going from a lifetime purchase, a one-time lifetime purchase, to a monthly feature in the next couple of days. I love ThriveCart, Dorn. I agree with you. But this is my checkout page. Rather than have it go someplace else or have it go to another funnel page, I use ThriveCart as my checkout page. Okay, I think the checkout page like this makes a lot of sense. And again, goes back to, you'll notice I have a consistency here. These are going to be exactly the same bullet points that I just had on my sales page. So I put the exact same bullet points on my checkout page that I had on my sales page. Well, guess what is the very first thing that they see when they purchase this and they open up the product? The first thing they see is this is what you're going to get in this program, and it has that same list of bullet points. You see why those bullet points are so important? All right. Any other questions before we go? Because it's really important for me to get out of here. I got to get to the heart doctor, who's down the road about 5 minutes. Okay. All right. If nothing else, folks, I'm going to have to do this today because it's important that I do it. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to end the webinar right here. Thank you so much. Okay. I'll talk to you next week, same time.